Hi, today I will be discussing the popular multiplayer online game Among Us and how it can be used as an intercultural tool to teach participants a way to identify a range of communication styles, how to code switch their communication styles based on particular situations, and how to interpret communication behavior as either being indirect or direct. The purpose of this assignment is to have individuals learn the range of communication styles that exist and identify the strengths and weaknesses of their own preferred style. Individuals will develop skills in communication, self-awareness, and empathy. Through debriefing questions, students and instructors will communicate how this activity allows for an easier transition to discussing communication styles in different cultural contexts. In the game Among Us, individuals are categorized as crewmate or imposter. Each round, everyone either completes tasks or, as an imposter, they must kill the other crewmate without being discovered. When a body is discovered or someone calls an emergency meeting, everyone has to explain what they were doing, and the imposter must lie and protect their identity. Players of the game are quickly aware of the various different communication styles individuals have and often have to adapt a different style to successfully play this game. Will you be quieter when everyone converses to hide your deeds? Do you tend to talk over individuals to show your innocence? Are the pauses between your sentences something to be suspicious of? As an online multiplayer game, there can be up to 4 to 10 participants in one virtual server. If you have a larger pool of individuals interested in the game, just know you will need to create multiple servers. Among Us also exists on multiple digital platforms, and not everyone playing needs to be using the same platform. Individuals can purchase the game from Steam or the Nintendo Network for $4.99 American dollars, or play the game for free after downloading the app from the mobile store from either Google or Apple. Before doing this activity, I would recommend having participants read the article, quote, "The Science of Why Your Friends Shot You from an Airlock," end quote, by Kyle Hostra, which is linked in the Hubble tool this video is referencing. Hostra's article is useful to read before the activity for several reasons. First of all, the article gives a more thorough breakdown of what Among Us is, and also why it has become a popular game in recent years. The article additionally explains some of the psychology behind lying games and what sort of information one can glean or believe they glean from other players. Now, before beginning the Among Us activity, I would highly recommend starting your class or session with the 30-minute pacing Hubble activity that the Among Us tool links to. The term pacing will be an excellent point of reference in the Among Us activity and debriefing. The purpose of the pacing activity is for individuals to identify 3 primary patterns of communication pacing, to identify how people use different pacing patterns might perceive one another, and how to identify effective ways to manage pacing patterns. In the activity, participants first learn 3 different ways that people pace when communicating. These communication styles are overlapping, turn-taking, and pausing. Overlapping is when 2 individuals seem to be talking at the same time, often with a lot of expression. Turn-taking occurs when an individual lets someone speak, briefly pauses, and then comments or asks a question. Pausing is when someone takes a small break for reflection before answering or responding to another person. Once you have established these terms and concepts, the participants will then role play using these communication patterns and discuss how they manage these various roles. They will also be doing this code switching while playing Among Us. Once you have gone through the slides for the pacing activity and have had participants briefly test out different pacing techniques, it is time to transition into playing Among Us. To set up the game, I recommend the participants and instructors will need to have a free Discord account. This activity could work on other digital platforms as well, such as Zoom, if you make sure everyone has their camera off during the entirety of the game and are muted during gameplay. Participants will be using Discord or whatever digital platform you decide on to chat together during the game. If using Discord, you will want to create a virtual server for the course or participants. To do this, click the plus icon in the circle in the server selection column on the left side of the screen. Click Create a Server on the left. Have participants make sure their Discord name is their actual name for ease of communication or keeping track of who is talking. On flashcards, physical or virtual, write the communication roles students will be taking from the pacing activity, turn taker, pauser, or overlapper. Before each game, give students their role and explain no matter if they are crewmate or imposter, they have to stick to their communication role. When opening up the game Among Us, individuals should select online and then enter code, which the host of the game or instructor should provide under the private section. During the game, individuals will be using Discord general voice channel. When actual gameplay is happening, task, or being an imposter, you need to mute yourself on Discord. You do this by clicking on the microphone by your name in the bottom left corner of the app. Red line through it means muted, and no line means not muted. After someone has reported a body, you may unmute yourself in Discord and chat with the others to gather information and figure out who the imposter is. Be mindful of the countdown clock in the bottom right corner to get your vote in on time. You can either vote for who you think the imposter is or skip the vote for the round. If you are now a ghost, meaning you were killed by an imposter, you cannot speak. Only listen as others guess what happened to you and maybe lie. Once the game begins, you'll find out if you are a crewmate or an imposter. If you are a crewmate, make sure to complete your tasks together. You can navigate the area by clicking at the map on the top right and see rooms you need to go to and click on tools to complete mini games or tasks. During the game, you will need to report any bodies you find, discuss with your team to discover the imposters, and send them out the airlock to drop them into lava. If you are an imposter, that means you are an alien parasite hiding amongst the crew. You are tasked with murdering crewmates without getting caught. Usually you should fake your tasks and sabotage the ship. If you died, you're not out of the game. You're just now a ghost. Be mindful to continue doing your tasks if you are a crewmate. If you don't do your tasks, your fellow living crewmates can't win the game that way. They'd have to rely only on discovering the imposters. If you were an imposter, you can still sabotage the ship to help out your fellow living imposter. After several rounds of the game, bring participants together for a debriefing. I would aim for 3 rounds, but this of course depends on how long a session lasts. Sometimes games can be quick if an imposter is immediately caught, or they can last some time if an imposter is particularly tricky. The debriefing will be your opportunity to bring the discussion of pacing and different ways of communicating and its relationship to the game all together. Participants did not just play a fun game, but rather practice new ways of communicating that deserve some reflection. You might consider having a handout for students with the terms turn taker, pauser, or overlapper, and other terms from today's activity for which they can turn to and specifically use in the debrief. The debriefing questions I have outlined include: what communication style would you define yourself? Turn taker, pauser, or overlapper? Which communication style was hardest for you to perform? What communication strategies did you try to use as a crewmate versus as an imposter? In what ways did you feel confident when speaking? What were some instances in which you felt uncomfortable? What challenges did you face when communicating with your peers? How did you overcome these challenges? What new strategies would you try in the future? What generalizations did you find yourself making about how someone communicated? For instance, would you assume someone who was too quiet was the imposter or vice versa? What generalizations did you have going into the game concerning how to tell if someone is a liar or not? What did you learn about these assumptions during the game concerning how to tell if someone is a liar or not? What did you learn about these assumptions during the game? What communication style did you see as most effective in this gameplay? The point of the first couple of questions is to have participants consider their own communication styles and which way they feel the most comfortable communicating. Have individuals consider why this might be. Can they know any cultural trends? Since individuals were asked to go outside their comfort zone, it'd be good to ask what sort of challenges they faced. By participating in different communicating roles, Individuals can learn about generalizations they had and how best to steer away from any stereotypes or assumptions of others. These are just a few of the concepts individuals will leave this activity with. Thank you for joining me today as I walk through how to incorporate the game Among Us as an intercultural tool to think through communication styles.